All right, Scott. So you and I, we both got our hands on the Xbox Series X. It's been out for about a month now, and there's been some really awesome things about it, and some, unfortunately, some negative things that also have been going on with this stuff. So, moving forward, man, I'm gonna kind of talk about the things that I've really enjoyed so far. So, first things first, man, this thing is a powerhouse. It is fast, it is beautiful, it makes all these games just run and look so good, man. Quick resume, I absolutely love this feature, man. I've been wanting this for so long because there's lots of times where I'll be playing Rainbow Six with my friends, and then they'll go out for like 20 minutes, half an hour, and then it sounds kind of funny, or even just like 5-10 minutes. So I'll be able to just quickly swap into another game and actually just be right where I was in that game without any sort of delay, maybe a 5-10 second delay loading into the game. So, man, that is just honestly probably the highlight for me is the quick resume, dude. Now, what about you? What are your thoughts on this so far?
Well, it's funny. Quick resume is, it's kind of one of those things that we talked about in the 360 era, the Xbox One. We were talking, why can't I just have something in the background? What's up with that functionality kind of missing? But now that it is in this console, it's very easy to see that it's quite a utility that I think a lot of people are going to get on top of and use. And personally, I think if I'm going to put one highlight out there, the thing that kind of blows me away is the updates that come to the Xbox One games that bring them into the future here with us. And I think that's really interesting. Just some games like Watch Dogs that just came out, it still has that super high level fidelity, and it almost missed the launch window. It was just at about the same time, and then it goes back even further. Now Rainbow Six is getting their update for Siege, and that just brings again another higher frame rate, 4K console resolution, and it's key to bringing a lot of things into the next step of generation with us. Because I was looking at the console, and it was kind of yes no on what features do I really like, what am I upgrading for specifically. There's games that are coming out but they're being pushed back, and there's a whole other console release that is competing with it. What is it that makes me want the Series X? But that was quickly answered when there's a whole lot of games already that I own that are being upgraded, and there is enough games coming down the pipe that are exciting that and it's been quite a number of years now since the last console generation that maybe now is a time to logically upgrade, and I'm glad I have.
Oh man, honestly, one of the most recent ones is Vermintide 2. They just did a huge 4K update with this game, and I haven't actually played this for a few months, but now that they did this, I'm 100% hopping back in. I love this game, and the fact that so many of these games are doing it for free, it is a huge smart move in, the fact that Xbox doesn't really have any launch games, man, except for all these third-party things, right? So these optimized games are really definitely helping Xbox in this case.
Yeah, I think they will toe the line, so to speak, until the first-party Xbox titles inevitably drop and really sell the console. But for those of us that are kind of interested enough to be in the industry a little bit and just we're habitual gamers, it was definitely something exciting for me to jump into, to grab the next latest console that Xbox puts out. It was kind of a no-brainer, really.
Yeah, man. It's, I have the 1S, and it's been pretty solid, but games, man, like just that sitting there for a minute and a half, 2 minutes sometimes for like Red Dead, 5 minutes, my goodness, some of these games, GTA in particular, it really does feel next gen with the speed and just everything.
Yeah, the speed of loading any game just seems to be reduced tenfold. I'm not sure exactly on specs. I'm just not one of those kind of guys, but just the the raw speed of loading into any of these new titles, the Call of Duty, and anything with like an open world is just almost instantly there.
It's great, man. Like I booted up, some like Fallout 3, for instance, which I know is ridiculous. I literally had 2-second load time when I was playing it. Like everything was instant, and like, man, back in the day on 360, you'd sit there for a minute just opening a door or something, right? So
Yeah.
it is really great, man. But some things I have to complain about with my current console, and I don't know if it's a thing with all Xboxes. I know that people just have issues with, launch consoles in general, but man, I have to reset my console fairly regularly. My Bluetooth, for some reason, with my Stealth 700 headset, it cuts out, and I'll have to power down my Xbox and then restart it, and then it works fine. And there's just a lot of things, man. Quick resume, I love it, but there are lots of times where I'll go to quick resume and it'll go to black screen, and then it'll totally just shut down the game.
Yeah,
so it's not perfect, and I'm just gonna kind of ride this out. Like, there's no way I'm getting my hands on an Xbox anytime soon, and it's nothing game breaking, no pun intended, but like nothing game breaking. So that's just it.
Yeah, I've experienced that shutdown as well, and it was something that was definitely concerning to me at first. But I've since kind of noticed a pattern to it a little bit. It seems to be related, at least in my case, to Black Ops Cold War. I'm not sure what exactly is going on with that game, but it does cause the console to black screen and shut off several seconds later. It's been really frustrating to the point where I've actually just stopped playing, because every game I go into on multiplayer does not finish and I get ejected from it, and it's just kind of one of those souring experiences, because this is supposed to be the next latest greatest thing, but there should always be caution with a new item. Console launch is a big deal, but these issues evidently come up, and there has to be some tempering with your opinion of the new console. Everybody wants to be excited, but it's brand new. You have to give it some room to work out the errors.
And I do believe with some updates in the future, they'll definitely be able to fix a lot of these issues. Call of Duty, especially in particular, man, that thing they did not build it that well on Xbox in comparison to PS5. I actually haven't really looked up if Sony's having these crashes like we are. I imagine they aren't, because it's, they put more, there's just like more effort and time put into the Sony version. That's where the exclusivity is and stuff like that. So one thing I guess we should end this with is kind of just things we'd like to see from Xbox, man. Just a couple things. We won't get too far into this, but one thing I'd like to see is I'd like to see the UI actually upgraded, man. It's the exact same as Xbox One, and I know everything's supposed to be the same or whatever, so I'm not too upset about it. But what I want is that in 2 years, when they stop making Xbox One games, I want there to be this huge kind of overhaul, and just not to the point where I'm lost, but to a point where it's like, yes, this is the current generation, and I'm pumped to play on it.
That's a very good point. There has been several UI changes to the Xbox brand over time, and it's generally something that's exciting, and it's interesting to get behind. When something like Avatars dropped, the whole console at the time, the 360, looked incredibly different, and there's always that change of dashboard with the new update. You're absolutely right. That's something that they haven't really done in quite a while now, and having the exact same layout as the Xbox One is familiar, but it's not really that exciting, brand new car smell to the console. If I had to think of one thing that I would really like to see Xbox kind of captivate, is more of a massively multiplayer scenario. Like, the environment to support something like that would be really interesting to see. And even if it's just in the form of parties, but with better rules and kind of like a clan party scenario that somebody can, maybe assign roles, or, there's moderators on it in some form, but that could be a really interesting thing. We have yet to see any of the guild aspect of Xbox One make its way to the Series consoles. So I think that would be something that would open up the Xbox for the future, where there's MMORPGs and such coming down the line. I think these consoles are so powerful, they're rivaling computers at this point. There's really less and less as time goes on to keep RPGs of that scale out of the environment.
Yeah, man. I think, with Microsoft obviously being the owners of Xbox and them being the fronters of PC, it would be a really good idea to totally bring these families together. Maybe not have Steam on your Xbox, but a lot of those games, or even some of those ones like, World of Warcraft, man. Imagine you could play that on your Xbox. Like, that's the market that they need to strike. Because Sony right now, they're really playing their cards right, and they're aggressive, man. They're scooping up exclusives left, right, and center, and they're doing really well.
Yeah, one that comes to mind is a current kind of MMORPG is the Genshin Impact. Seeing that running simultaneously on a Nintendo Switch and a PlayStation 4, I feel like Xbox is kind of left out in that regard, but I would like to see them take steps to just encompass the entire genre range that is available right now. Yeah,
man, I totally agree with you, and you all should let us know what you guys want from Xbox, or if you have one, if you're having these issues, definitely tell us about them, because we're curious.